Hello, and welcome to Taking the Reins. I'm your host, Diana Nord. In part one of our interview with Katie Geddes, we found out she has had a passion for horses all of her life. We also learned she is an honorary member of the Atlanta Mounted Patrol. In part two, we find out what Katie's role with the Georgia Tech Equestrian Club is all about, as well as what it takes to be successful when she competes in horse shows across the country. So, how long have you been riding for?
I've been riding for 17 years, I believe.
And what's your favorite part about riding?
I don't know. I think being able to have a relationship with an animal of that size and have them listen to your every move is really incredible, just because, you know, they're completely wild, and to be able to ride and be in control and have them be completely tuned into what you want them to do is really incredible.
Do you ride Western, English, or both?
I do a little of everything, so English and Western.
Do you have a favorite style?
My favorite style of riding actually isn't done by the equestrian team. I grew up doing dressage, which is more of a European sport, so schools here in America, it's very rare to have a dressage team, but it's in the Olympics, it's in the World Equestrian Games, so people normally have heard of it but don't really know exactly what it is. But here with the team, I do hunt seat more than Western. I think I'm a little biased just from what I did before, since dressage is an English sport, but the hunt seat that we do is also English, and it's kind of similar to dressage, and it has all of the jumping too, so that's really fun.
How often a week do you ride?
I normally ride about 2 to 3 times a week.
And where do you go to ride?
I either go down to the APD, or I go to Woodstock, Georgia, where the hunt seat barn is, or I go to Conyers, Georgia, where the Western barn is. So I do a lot of driving, as you can imagine.
Do you have a favorite horse that you ride at the moment?
Oh, I don't think so. I ride so many. Yeah, it's hard to choose one. We always ride a different horse at the hunt seat barn. And so I've probably ridden 8 or 10 horses there, and at least 3 or 4 at the Western barn, and, you know, a whole nother barn full at the APD. So it's cool that I get to ride a lot of different horses. It's always a challenge to kind of adapt what you do to what they're going to respond to. So that's been a really cool learning experience. But no favorites.
So you're a team captain. Can you tell us about how you like it?
I like being the captain. It takes a lot of organization, a lot of time management, and also management of people on the team, communicating between the team members and the coaches, and making sure those lines of communication stay open is, I think, the biggest challenge, just because the team is fairly large. And we do have 2 different coaches that are very far apart from one another, so they never see each other really unless they're both at the same competition. And not every competition is both English and Western, so not even then can they see each other normally. So making sure they're both on the same page and making sure everyone on the team is filled in with what their responsibilities are as team members is what I do the most.
How do you think the leadership of the equestrian team this year has worked together?
I think it's worked fairly well. Jessica is the president, and she's done a wonderful job of keeping everyone informed about everything going on. She deals with a lot of the campus relations and, you know, scheduling meetings and going through paperwork and, you know, working with SGA to get funding. And I do all of the competitions. I schedule the rides. I do entries for the shows. and I also coordinate the rides with the Atlanta Police Department. So I think our jobs really go together very well. I think we complement each other with how we fulfill our responsibilities and we get everything done.
Can you tell us how a winner is deemed at a competition?
Well, it depends on the type of competition you're at, but for the type of competitions we do, there is a judge, and the judge kind of watches your ride, decides what you're doing. With the type of competitions that we do, we actually have to ride a horse that we've never ridden before. And so we get dressed just like a normal competition in formal attire, and we actually get basically assigned a horse whose name was drawn out of a hat and matched with your name. And so it's really hit or miss whether or not you're going to get along with the horse, and you don't get any practice. You get on and you stand. You have to stand literally perfectly still until it's time to go in and be judged. And so you don't know anything about the horse. Someone may have given you a tip or two, the owner, if the owner's there, or a rider on the team who's providing the horse for the competition. So sometimes you get a little insight, but normally it's really up in the air.
Can you tell us about the difference between attire for Western and English riding?
There is a huge difference in attire between English and Western. The joke is that in English, you're actually supposed to look like a man. You put all of your hair up in your hat, so you don't have any hair showing at all. And you wear, just those tan fitted pants and the black boots and, kind of a men's fitted blazer. So it's not very feminine at all. It's very streamlined between everyone in the arena. It's, that black and tan and a white collar showing. It's very, very plain. You're not supposed to wear a lot of makeup. You cover your hands with black gloves. Everything is black and brown and white. It's very, very simple. And in Western, it is the complete opposite. You have to look like a diva. You wear a ton of makeup, lots of eyeshadow and blush, mascara, eyeliner, everything. And the shirts are really, really bright colors and with big collars and sleeves and covered in glitter. It's almost like a pageant. Half of your ride is how outlandish you look. The more glitter and the more makeup you have on, normally the better you do. Which is really funny because in English, the attire is just supposed to be simple, so it doesn't distract from your equitation, which is the way you ride, the way you work with a horse. And in Western, you're supposed to stand out as much as you can with your attire. So sometimes I do both in the same day, and it's really funny switching between the two outfits, especially if Western is first, because I have to go and take off all this makeup to go and put on my black blazer. So it's really funny seeing the differences.
So you brought some of your gear with you today, right here. Can you tell us about some of this riding gear?
Sure. These are my English boots. I only brought English attire today. These boots are supposed to look like I could be going fox hunting. The whole idea behind riding English is that it came from riding out in the fields, riding out in England after the foxes. And so everything is supposed to be very basic and very proper, very British proper. And so the boots are supposed to be thick enough to protect your feet if you get stepped on, but also very, very fitted on your legs, so there's not loose material between your leg and the horse because you want to be able to feel that connection. I also have gloves here, and I always wear gloves. It's kind of your decision whether or not you ride day to day in gloves, but I always do just because I kind of have a really hard grip on the reins, and if I don't, I get big blisters on my hands. So I wear those gloves every time I ride. And I also brought my helmet, and I believe very strongly in always wearing the helmet, at least in hunt seat. In Western lessons, we don't really wear a helmet as much, but at least for jumping, of course, it's very, very important just because it's a little dangerous. And all the helmets we use for our competitions have to have a certification with this tag on the inside. So there's a whole committee, a national committee that goes through the helmet design to make sure that it's appropriate, to make sure it comes down. It's supposed to come down very far on your neck, just so if you fall off, you're trapped under the horse. You have, the most protection you can have, just because it's possible to fall off and get trampled or get a foot stuck in the stirrup. and be dragged. There's a million bad things that could happen, especially with jumping. Even you could fall off, land on the jump, have the horse fall onto the jump, lots of things can go wrong. So the design of the helmet is very important, and making sure it's a certified helmet is important as well.
When you were learning to jump, because jumping is definitely one of the most impressive skills to someone watching equestrian, what was it like when you're trying to learn? What are the steps that you take when you're trying to learn how to jump?
Let's see. I suppose I learned to jump, I guess I was like 10 or 12. And you go slow at first. You do just poles on the ground. The jumps are made of wooden poles. And you can take them and just put them in the arena flat and trot over them, canter over them, and then you slowly raise them and learn how to pace the horse. The most important thing about jumping isn't so much what you do over the fence, but how you ride to the base of the jump. You have to get the correct number of strides going to a fence just so the horse is able to jump fully. If you hold the horse back really, really tightly, they can, kind of hop and put in an extra stride before the jump and then pop over it really high and awkwardly. And so getting the right pacing to every fence is really the most important thing to learn. But once you have that, you can pretty much go around any course.
What advice do you have for someone who has never ridden before or is just trying out riding?
I think advice I would give would be to not be afraid. I think it's easy for people that haven't been around horses ever to be intimidated by their size. But, the horses, they're not really aware of how much bigger than you they are. And so just to act like you're in charge, then they'll respond and know that you're the boss. But if you act like afraid of them, or if you act like they could, push you around, then it's, not as good. It's really dangerous to let that happen. Always knowing how to be the dominant species over them.
Through your whole riding career, have you had a favorite horse that you've been able to interact with?
Yeah, I think I have a horse now in Maryland that I got when I was a freshman in high school, and I actually sold this horse when I came to Georgia Tech. But the woman, she worked for NASA and she was really busy with her job, and she told me that she didn't have time to keep up with him anymore. And so he's actually back in my name, but I never brought him home. We actually found a facility out in Maryland for therapeutic riding, and he's actually rehabilitating injured veterans that have injuries from IEDs from Iraq. And so he's in a program to help those veterans get better. A lot of programs are in existence now for rehabilitation for, children that are disabled, for veterans that have problems, and working with horses can be very therapeutic. And just learning to sit astride a horse, even if they've never ridden before, and feeling like they are empowered again. Just because if you're in a wheelchair, I can't exactly relate, but I think it's wonderful for the horse to be able to give them the power to move, and I think controlling an animal of that size can be very empowering.
How do you guys recruit members for the team or try and bring in new riders?
The main way we bring in new riders is through Facet, just because most people learn about the team out on Skiles when all the tables are set out, just because everyone comes through, and so we normally get the riders that way. And girls that grew up riding will normally seek us out.
How do you want your teammates on the equestrian team to remember you?
I would say I would like them to remember that I did a good job of bringing people together, of taking people out to lessons, giving freshmen an opportunity to get out to the barn, just because a lot of them don't have cars on campus. I tried really hard to bring everyone together and give everyone a chance to ride, no matter what year they are, no matter the experience they've had. I'm always willing to take people with me to go out to the barn. So I think just building that sense of community and taking the time to see members maybe outside of lessons, if I can, if we have a time that is compatible for everyone, scheduling dinners and things like that. We did more of that last year, and we need to get back to it now. But I think just every year letting people have the chance to get out to the barn, interact with one another is really important, and I think I would like to be remembered for bringing people together in that way.
It is truly amazing to see a young woman like Katie Geddes balance a demanding course load from a school like Georgia Tech with a unique passion that takes physical skill and mental toughness to be successful. We thank Katie for spending time with us and telling her story. I'm your host, Diana Nord. Thank you for watching Taking the Reins.